Hi
Hey,
Garima, hi, how are you?
I'm good. Wait 1 second. Just increasing my volume. Hi.
Hello,
How are you, Pooja? How's
I'm
quarantine been for
good.
you? Are you still quarantined from
Yeah,
Singapore?
so today is my last day of self-isolation, so tomorrow I just get to be with my family.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
With
I've
Amalya
been,
too?
no, she's at my mom's place, so I can't go out, right? So
Oh,
another
still
12 more
is
days to
it?
go,
Oh
yeah.
my God. Oh my God. Oh my
But I
God.
get to be with my in-laws and my husband, so
Mm,
yeah.
it's fantastic.
How's everything with you?
Very nice, very peaceful.
Is it?
I'm sorry for people who are suffering, but otherwise, I feel some of
Yeah,
us who are blessed, who are
true.
sheltered and have food, I think we could make the most of this time. Um, give out very good prayers for everyone who need
True.
our prayers and utilize our time in a very productive way, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
Uh, let's start in 2 minutes so that some of them who are waiting, to join at 6 don't miss out on some of the tips.
Yes, yes.
Um,
So you're with your kids? All of them
um,
are back?
yeah, my son's back and my daughter is here. My son's busy with his online classes and
Okay.
yeah, so it's been nice. Looking
So how do you
forward
keep
to the
yourself busy?
activities also.
What do you do regularly?
I'm actually so busy. I don't know. I don't find time for
Really?
anything. I've not been watching any Netflix like you. I heard you were watching all day, and I'm wondering how
Yeah.
am I going to find time. So, making use of this time, as you may have seen on Peekaboo, we have been recording a lot of videos with ideas. So instead of, live, sometimes if parents are busy, they could go on and see. So
Yeah.
we're recording videos, we are making our website more user friendly, coming up with new designs. So working 4-5 hours a day. And other than that, like fun cooking for kids, I've entered their hearts through their stomach for sure.
That's
And
lovely.
yeah, family time and a little bit of cleaning, things which I don't get to do when I'm at work, enjoying
Yeah.
that. I'm also doing some Zoom classes, yoga on Zoom, which
Okay.
is very nice to start a day to, kind of I'm feeling fitter because it's so energizing. So it's been really nice. Yeah.
The one good
Um,
thing about quarantine for me is like no unhealthy food. I'm eating only like proper home cooked food.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
yeah,
that
it, it
was.
feels good in a way, right? I thought it'd
Mhm.
be really hard for me, but I feel like
I'm
healthy and
actually
good.
skipping breakfast, so then I'm doing two meals, which also makes me feel lighter and more
Okay.
energetic. So, yeah, otherwise, at home, and then you have like a heavy breakfast, and then
Mm,
it's time for lunch and dinner, and it just seems like all day you're eating. So my first meal is lunch. Not
okay.
very strictly doing IF, which is a fad right now, the current, like intermittent fasting, but I'm
Yeah.
enjoying keeping a little light and along with that doing yoga. Um, don't have small kids, but have a lot of ideas. In
Yeah.
fact, back then I'm like a dinosaur mom. I've told you before also, Pooja,
Yes.
that kids have grown up, but back then we didn't have such a busy life. Like the pace has changed now. So, hi everyone. Oh my God, I see so many of my friends
Yeah, there are a lot of
also.
people learning.
Hello, hello. Hi everyone. I wish I could say hello to everyone individually. Please write in your questions. I would love to answer them. And you can always reach out to Pooja or One Life or to us. It's 6:02. Let's get started. Let's talk. Um,
So before you start,
so,
I just
guys,
want you to talk about the conscious parenting series. I'm so excited. I want everyone to know about what you do.
okay, so
Yeah.
firstly, I want to thank Pooja. And I've been for her launch program she had um, at Radisson Blue. And she's so young, has a small kid, doing so many things, but taking out so much time for creating this awareness. And it's my privilege to be a part of this.
No, it's
Thank you
my
for
honor. You've always been a
inviting me.
great mentor and a good friend, Garima. Like, a lot of credits to you.
Always been so nice to hang
Yeah,
out with you, and it's really been amazing.
likewise.
I've known you like it's we haven't had time to meet so much, but it's been so amazing. So yeah, so Peekaboo is now 15 years old, and my mentor Sidra Jaffrey, she saw the gift in me that I was always treating a client not like a client but like a mother, and I was always concerned about how the child would use the product or how the child is, or even when I met them at the shop, it was not always about, it was more than just retail for me or interior design for me. So she kind of mentored me and ignited that spark in me to do conscious take up conscious parenting series where uh, we I'm taking out a lot of time now to meet parents if they have any issues with their children or with parenting, and
Okay.
I actually don't want to charge for it, so it's a free consultation. Even if they don't want to meet, if they want to drop in a query through Peekaboo portals, we have a great presence on social media. I'm sure you're
Yes.
aware,
Yes.
Facebook
Yeah.
and Instagram and everywhere. They could drop in a query, and I would be happy to help them. Sometimes, I feel in this mad rush in this world, they need somebody to just have a quick chat with because they are so lost, or they are
True.
not too sure of what decision to take. So many times, so many times, over 15 years of meeting a dozen of parents a day, they come and ask me simple questions like, I'm so worried about the school, which school to choose, and
Yeah,
what
you heard
kind
it from me as
of
well.
tuition, what kind of tuition, and is it okay to let children sleep with us in our room, and like so many questions like that, like and it's always a pleasure to give them a different perspective, a perspective which has come from experience, because
Very
I
true.
have been there since for so many years. I have friends who have raised amazing children, and learning from their stories, I could share some tips with them which could help them. I don't give them a consultation as such, but lay out some options and speak from the heart and experience. So it's up to them what they could choose. Also, I've seen over the years that some of the parents, who are little reluctant to speak to their own parents if there is a certain situation, like the child is getting angry very often, or uh, throwing tantrums, and whom should they talk to, because they really don't know if they could reach out for something small to actually a counselor of some sort,
Yeah.
or um, a practitioner or who deals with such things, or they're reluctant own parents because sometimes they feel they're not going to get a biased opinion, and or they don't have a family member, they feel their friends might judge them. So I
Yeah.
feel like I fit into that very well, where they could talk to me in a safe space, feel very secure, and with
Very
trust they
true.
could just pick up the phone and say, hey, you know what, my child has been crying a lot before going to school, and I have tried so many things, and it's not been working out, can you help me with that? And it's always been a pleasure to help young parents when they're juggling with so many things. I mean, I started Peekaboo when my kids were small, but some of you all are doing so many things today. The social pressure is so much, and it leaves us with a lot of questions. So
Yeah.
coming to now, being self isolated in our homes with our families, there are a lot of activities that parents want to know about what they could do with their kids.
Yes.
um, Activities are plenty, frankly. They are on Pinterest, they're on YouTube. There are activities everywhere that they could get ideas from. In fact, we have are recording 40 activities,
Yes.
different ideas for children. But why I agreed that day when you reached out to me, and I would like to talk to as many possible here, is that you know activity is not something that you pick up a piece of paper, make a caterpillar, and it's done. that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about two things mainly. One is that we have to connect to our inner child when we are sitting with that activity, uh, instead of always being that tall big author person who's in charge. And then, because children are missing their peers, they're missing smaller children to play with, whom they can giggle and be silly. Silly is childlike. So I'm requesting parents to um, it's almost healing. It's like meditation. Unlearn what they have learned, be childlike, giggle, laugh over silly things, sit with them, be like them. If they are painting a tree, you paint with them. If they are painting the tree purple, nowadays people say, okay, think out of the box, let them, it need not be green, it could be purple. But what is the choice of words during that activity? What is the conversation that you're having with the child? That is something really important. If one could forget their worries, what is cooking for dinner, and that half an hour of undivided attention where they could sit. And since you are promoting and bringing awareness for mental health, this is so important that they actually find that moment as a relaxation, not as a pressure,
Very
not
true.
as like a big headache that, oh my god, this afternoon when the child wakes up, I have to keep the child entertained, and what should I do, and look up some idea on YouTube and do it. It doesn't work like that all the time. Okay, we did it
Yeah.
last in 2019 over the weekends, and the parents, we all have done so many things. But when it works amazing when your heart felt like doing something. You had a chat with the child, and then you did that with the child without having too many inhibitions, without over planning, without stressing, without uh, like, I know it's hard, but actually frankly it's easier. It's a lot easier to engage the children like that. But for that, maybe something that makes you happy, you could do with them.
Yeah.
When your aura or your energies are sorted and you are happy and you're like calm and you are doing something with them, that's when they pay attention, that's when they want to sit longer, that's when they are listening. But if a parent is like hyper, or if a parent is sad, or if a parent is complaining, or if a parent is stressed, or if a parent is feeling anxious, or if a parent is maybe not in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
thinking of what it would be after 2 hours, or even thinking that what am I going to do tomorrow, this is good, this activity is over, I bought this activity drawing book, it's over and I don't have anything for tomorrow. If that's the mental status at that moment, then that activity is not going to be the best time spent together.
Mm.
That's one thing I really wanted to talk about, that to bring out the child in you. If you like to play with, say, Play-Doh, then maybe you could play with Play-Doh every day with your child. You want to
Mm.
experiment with something, you like science, you want to play football, then so be it. Need not, we if you are a fish, you can't climb a tree. If you are not into sports, you cannot engage your child with sporty activities. It's all right. You like
Yeah.
to paint, paint with the children. Like that. That should be the state of mind. Here we are talking
Mm.
about the mental health of mothers and parents and fathers who are here, and they want to experience a good time with the children while being isolated, while not having to go out to a field to play. One needs to do what they can do at home. um,
Mm.
the other bit that I wanted to talk about is, I hope you all are with me on this.
Yes, yes,
This is
yeah.
my
I see a
first
lot of people
live
like
video,
joining
and
in.
Yeah, it's my first live video, and I hope I'm, making sense.
Of course.
The other thing what I wanted to talk about is boredom.
Hmm.
So, how to deal with that? Because a lot of parents are looking out for activities because they think the children will get bored, and the children are drawing. They come up and they say, "I'm getting bored," because they also get a little bored, but also they like to seek that attention of the parents.
Okay.
So many times for the attention seeking kind of children who have probably got less undivided attention from their parents, they are the ones who keep saying, I'm getting bored, I'm getting bored. They are not being able to sit in one place, they are not able to read a book for a long time, they are not able to pick up a book on their own, and they are not able to pick up a book on their own, or plan what they want to do, like come up with something that they want to do. So what would be amazing would be if um the parents would embrace and accept boredom. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Okay.
So when there is a little bit of irritation or some sort of disapproval about boredom, then there is a certain energy exchange where the child is not feeling comfortable while getting bored. It's okay to get bored, is my point. So if
Hmm.
they're getting bored, the biggest of the biggest, somebody sat in a tree and the apple fell and he was bored, and then he figured out gravity. So what I'm trying to say is that boredom is all right. Of course, it should not become like, like they're totally bored all the time, but genius sparks from boredom too. And always pre-planning and having a structured day is also okay, but there should be moments and time when they are bored, and then they are creatively, with their own genius, with their own heart, coming up with an activity. So activity ideas, as I'm repeatedly saying, I've given so many, but I didn't have this platform to talk about. What about time when there is
Yeah.
a time when there's no activity? What about boredom? Because boredom is natural and boredom is also welcome. And how do we tackle with that moment when a child comes and tells us, I'm getting bored, I'm getting
Yeah.
bored. And then the mother is like, oh my God, what do I do? That it's the reaction that is the problem. It's like, oh, okay, are you getting bored? How about thinking of something that you would like to do? And it's the conversation or reaction changes everything, frankly. So
True.
at
Very
that
true.
moment, when I talk about conscious parenting, is that are you conscious enough? Are you conscious enough in every moment when you are approached as to what you should be speaking? So one should be speaking in a conscious way, and knowing that every word spoken has a certain impact. So when
Okay.
you are speaking, then you should know what impact you want. So if you're going to get irritated and you're going to send the child away and say, oh, you keep getting bored and I don't know what to do and blah, 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 then the child will probably come back with it more and more.
Yeah. True.
But if we have the right conversation, choose the right words, the choice of words really makes a difference. They will understand that they can come up with genius ideas themselves, what they like to do, and be so creative with boredom. I mean, boredom is all right. It's very natural. So these
Like
are
you
the
said, is
times,
like,
trying times,
yeah.
when one can understand these things, where we have been given the opportunity to stay at home and bring the best out of us, literally.
Perfectly said, Garima. So, are there like any activities for all age groups to just do for parents to just keep the kids
So
entertained?
that the one crux of this whole thing is also that now that some of them don't have friends, some kids are apparently, I heard today they were having fun with their neighbors and they were meeting up and all. But some kids who are alone, they don't have friends, and they want to be engaged. I would say, like, even if you're cooking,
Mm.
and if you say that I'm going to ask my child to help me, then I would say that make an activity evening around it.
Okay.
So that cooking itself could be like, okay, you know what? We are going to cook. You do this part, give responsibilities. As I mentioned earlier on one of my videos on the Peekaboo site, was that have a super chef, a master chef competition. Even make your granny a judge, give her a judge badge, make a
Okay.
badge, make a scorecard, do plating, set up the table beautifully. So the activities involving every member are the activities which will be sustainable for the next few days, the activities that will nurture the children, and the activities which will fill up their emotional tanks will be the ones where every member of the family participates. I
Mm.
know it's hard sometimes, not everyone is willing to, but uh, I think once they taste it, they like it. Once,
Mm.
the other people who are not getting involved, if they taste it once or twice, I think when they see the sweet smile of the kids, they'll melt and they'll like it. So
Yeah.
little different activities like that, where they can engage the whole family. Um, they I was also talking about hopscotch in one of the videos, where having you don't have outdoors, but at home with a tape one could mark on the floor. And the best part would be that, why do they like playing with kids in school? Why do they like their break time the most? Because 4 5 of them talk, chat, chit chat, and then they do an activity. What I'm saying is that when you are playing something, the small 5 year old is playing something, the parent should also behave like they are young children
Young.
and
Yeah.
participate in that same thing. Do hopscotch, bring out the child in you. I'm sure you've played it when you were 10, 6, 5. Play it
Yes.
again with them. Have competition, talk to them, and try to win. Maybe sometimes pretend that you're not that good and make them feel good. I think parents know their children well, where to draw the line, where to be realistic, where to push them a little bit. And yeah, so activities like that's what doing an activity like coloring in a book, in that same book, one page every day. Think about it. So boring. Every day the same thing for weeks. We don't even know when this lockdown is going to get
Yeah.
over. It's so boring. But making it a story in some way, like making buntings together and then putting the buntings in your room. So you've actually decorated as well as done art and craft as well as done some drawing, at the same time. Making table mats and then putting it on your dinner table. So then there is a goal, there is a planning, and then you're doing that activity. So that 6 pieces of table mats that you are drawing and coloring the whole day is going to be presented. And when it's presented, there will be appreciation.
Yeah.
And that will make it special. Just coloring or just doing some uh, things, small things, they'll do it. But after a point, it's going to get to everyone. So I have put a lot of ideas. I can talk about more ideas. The whole point here is that one should make that activity more meaningful, make that activity more family oriented so that everyone's participating, and yeah, bring out the child in you while you're playing with your child. That
Yeah.
would
So I
be
have
really good.
one question. This is for parents who are in a nuclear family with
Mm-hmm.
no elderly people around. And these
Mm-hmm.
days we find both the parents working and now everyone's working from home. So
Okay.
it's hard for them to manage kids with all these commitments, right? So how can we help them, to focus with the child as well as with the work and everything around?
So, in such a scenario, I mean, if the child is a little older, I would say the smaller children, like 3-year-olds or something, they will have to do with toys in such a
Okay.
scenario. But
Mm-hmm.
children who understand that, I am going to be busy for 2 hours on a call, and this is
Yeah.
what you need to do. One could still do it, right? One could still
Mm.
put a few things together, paint. But the thing is that, yeah, you would need a little bit more of calm understanding and say that, yeah, we are going to set up the table today together by evening, and I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
busy with the phone call for 2-3 hours, and this
Mm-hmm.
is what you're going to do. And give how we give them a toy, we give them some ideas and give them the material, and then make them sit in one place. And then they are doing that. That's anyways, they'll have to sit in one place and do their own thing while the parents are busy, or the homeschooling is going on. I think a lot of schools are
Mm.
giving Zoom classes and stuff like that. Even that, I'm getting calls where people have found it a little challenging to
Yeah.
let the kids sit in one place and finish their schoolwork. I would say patience is the key. I mean, we'll have to, if they don't do it, it's absolutely all right. We cannot replicate a school environment with so many kids versus the child being alone at home and
Yeah.
doing this. And putting pressure at that point of time according to me, it's a big no-no. I mean, I really feel scolding or, yeah, that all that doesn't work in the long
Because
run.
this happened to one of my friend, and then she called me and she spoke to me about it yesterday. So she had no other go. She had to attend a meeting, but then she lashed out on her child, who was like 2.5 years old, and again she
Mm,
felt guilty for it. So I just
yeah.
want to understand. I want parents to understand the psychology of children. For younger kids, like you said, they don't understand, right? That it's something important that parents need to do.
It's
And when
very
both of them
hard
are
for
working,
them, Pooja. Think
yeah,
about it. It's
yeah,
very hard for them. They've always been taken care of either by
yeah,
a nanny or somebody
yeah,
while the parents have been in office. They are not used to this new setup.
mm,
So, maybe the parents can have their schedule planned 2-3 days ahead.
mm,
So, like, today is Friday. We have our meetings chalked out from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we make sure maybe one parent is a little freer than the other one at any
mm,
point of time.
mm,
They have to juggle their meetings, even if they have to do a little bit of a late night meeting. It is hard, it is challenging, but a lot of planning, sitting with the planner, I think that would help them, because we have to understand it's hard for the kids. They're not able to step out. They are used to going to a park, they are used to going to a play area. They're not getting any of that. So, sitting
yeah,
at home with a 3-year-old and both the parents being busy is hard for everyone. It's a fact.
very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, from this conscious parenting series, what are the other problems you think that parents are encountering during this lockdown period?
Most parents are finding it difficult to control their anger.
Mm,
I think that's something that is bothering them.
mm,
And I think the tantrums of the kids, that, they are crying too much, and then the dad is getting upset, he's on a phone call, and those kind of things are happening. Also, some parents are saying that the kids are not cooperating, they are not coming, and helping them, a little older kids, with the
mm,
household
mm,
chores.
mm,
I feel, for all of that, my mentor also always used to tell me is that one needs to have a lot of patience, and one needs to have the right communication. So if the
yeah,
communication is the choice of words is absolutely on dot, I I think things could get better with the children. It's building a relationship. It's like slowly building a relationship, and with them with the right communication. Communication is something that differentiates us from the from animals, and we need to choose the right kind of words to bring out the best in you know in our kids.
So to
Communication.
practice all that you said all of a sudden, like again, it's hard for everyone, right? So we've been running around. It's a pause for everyone, and for mothers or any. So to practice the art of being patient, is there any techniques to consciously, like make it a point that you shouldn't just like that lash out and understand the other person's feelings before you react?
It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Uh, I know there is one thing which is different, differently thought. Like there are different schools of thought about that. But I personally believe that, if you are having an argument with your husband, I feel like the children can be kept away from it.
Mm.
I feel that. So lashing out, adults lashing out at each other, at all the time, and uh, it doesn't leave a good taste with the children, and I don't think they can understand what's going on. All that happens at that moment is they get more frightened and they get more scared, or they feel uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
I feel like communication not only with the kids, if they can, their communication, even if they are having a go at each other, parents, if they can avoid it in front of kids, um, it would make a huge improvement over the next few days if they can manage that.
Yeah, this is
Avoid.
something that's applicable for everyone, right? Like not just with your relationship with a kid, even some elderly people in your family or your husband or your parents can be anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like, no, there are some people who say that, let the kids know what's the real scenario, and I'm like, no, I feel they're too tender, and
Mm.
we don't know how they are digesting it. So it's better that they are kept away from it. To keep calm and patient, I would say a little bit of meditation, a
Mm.
few, breathing cycles of pranayam, and a whole lot of reminders. I feel like so many things we know, all of us know, we've heard it, we've read it, everyone's posting stuff, but just to be reminded of it when in the need of the hour. So there's some way where one can be reminded of even twice a day, then we know we want to do it, and then we get reminded of it, so we tend to do it.
Yeah.
So if one can set a reminder on the phone, or that, be patient, as simple as that. Or reach out to somebody if you're losing it for 1 or 2 days. Reach out to us, ask us. We can give you a tip. We can tell you that, just remind you that be patient, because these are trying times for everyone,
Yeah.
and all that matters is patience at this moment, in every which way, whether be it with with the senior people at home, with your colleagues, with your parents, with your children, with anybody. Patience would be, I think, the key word.
Yeah. I have a question with what you said earlier. So you said like if you have any arguments with anyone in your family, just try to keep it away from children, right? So I've encountered this personally with a few people I know. So they feel if the kids are younger, right, when they're less than 1 years or 2 years, they feel that they don't remember or understand things like that, and they still continue to say things whatever they want, and they feel it's totally fine. So, but I kind of feel it will definitely have an impact, but I'm not able to articulate it, the thought that it will definitely impact the child. So, what's your view on that?
That's a really good question, and I have a very, very good view about that. So, this I had learned from pranic healing. So, I've been a pranic healer, which is energy
Okay.
healing, cleansing the energy, aura, and all of that. And my teacher is so fabulous. He would give us these great analogies. So, it's like, energy is like, if you think that it's like dust, right? Like, think that energy is dust. Okay, so when you when two people are talking, and they're the dusty, something's coming out, whatever, everything. It settles everywhere. It's in the air. So when the children are really small, also, it's imagine if there's dust and you've taken something and you're breaking something, you're hitting something, and the dust is going all over. It'll go and settle on everything around. So, like with children, we feel they're not understanding anything, but that energy of, anger or conflict or whatever it might be, that energy does stay on them in their aura, in their solar plexus, which is the emotional chakra. It's right here, and it it affects them in many more ways that one can think and sometimes, my mentor has also taught us something called ABC, where we try to remove, like if you're feeling a certain way today, and that could be a result of a trauma in the childhood, like when we were very young. So um it's very complicated, but it's so scientific that one needs to understand that there's nothing called the child doesn't understand and the child is around and he's too young. Oh my God. The same way as we cannot have negative conversations in front of the child thinking that it will impact the child, we should have positive conversations and not think that the child is not understanding. Are you getting my point?
Yes,
So,
yes,
like
yes.
I said, that even if you put flowers on the child, the fragrance will touch the child. So when, as much as I'm saying, don't have negative conversations and put dust on the child, like that energy, at the same time, say things which you may think that, say Amulya is so small, like she's so small, and you would be like, no, she doesn't understand the word meditation, it's so big, and I cannot tell her. I feel that's also like, it's a way of your thinking. But if we try to talk about certain things, and when she's around, like, they say vibrations of mantras, of prayers,
Yeah.
vibrations, those things also have an impact on children. So both ways, they are beings, they are souls. It has an impact. One must understand that at all times.
That's very true. Like, I learned so much from her every day. I was sharing you a few incidents when we met last time, right? So it's still continuing. My mom like sends videos of her, and in every video or video call that I do to her, she's grown up so much. She's trying to talk. She is just a reflection of what her people around her are doing. So it is actually making us conscious in a way, like by the words you speak and things you do. I think kids are the best teachers,
Yeah, and
in
some
life.
of them, you'll be surprised, but they have their own identity. So some of them are totally different, even in a situation which is not the most amazing situation. They are like super
Mm.
amazing. Like
Yeah,
they are
yeah,
able to use their inner power, inner ability, and overcome that and become the heroes where you are looking
very
up to
true.
them.
Yes,
So
very
yeah, it's absolutely like children are beautiful, and you know
true.
how much I love children and parenting and all of that.
Very true. Yeah. So is there anything else that you wanted to share for today?
um I would again like to say about talk about the two things which I wanted to talk about today.
Garima,
Like,
your voice is a bit low.
is it better now?
No.
No.
It's suddenly like very low.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, yeah, it's good now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Could be like a Wi-Fi thing. So, the two things that I was talking about, one was to be childlike yourselves so that you can participate, you can giggle, you can be natural, you can be human, you can be excited, you can be everything just like how kids are, because that's what they get connected to, not a mother who is like strong and tall and big and who gives instructions all the time. That doesn't work. Joking,
Mm.
silly things. Yeah, you could break a crayon and laugh and say, oh my god, I broke a crayon. Like, be so childlike. And the second one would be boredom. I think boredom is welcome. Boredom is okay. Doing nothing is okay. This is also for older kids. We always let the 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds play around with their dolls in one corner, and it's okay. But 7, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, why are you wasting time? You don't have an agenda. You have so much to do. Like,
Yeah.
we need to give them some whiling away time too. There's a big question about screen time right now. That's a huge, huge problem.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a totally different subject altogether
But
about
do you think
screen
it's
time.
okay to just, you know, give them more time than before?
Give them like, let them be, like, let them get bored.
No, no, no.
What was your question?
For extra screen time, do
Oh,
parents have to be so
um,
strict, or is it okay to, like, let them be? I mean, not for the
first,
entire day, but then like just a few hours extra, not being so strict during this quarantine.
see, I feel really strongly about practice what you preach. So if you're going to
Yeah.
watch 6 episodes of Netflix and then you're going to point fingers at your child, so you're
Mm.
pointing one, but 3 fingers are pointing back towards you.
Yeah.
That's
Very
a
true.
big no-no. It's like they're getting confused. It's like, hey, one side you say it's not good, but you're doing just that. So that's not okay. So either you have such a busy schedule where you don't actually have that kind of screen time, and if you feel that you are entitled to screen time because there's nothing to do and there is this whole pandemic, so I am allowed Netflix, then I think your child is too.
Child is allowed as well.
I feel
That's
so.
perfect. Yes.
I'm so sorry, but
Yeah.
maybe some parents might not agree, but I feel if it's okay with you, then to some extent it's okay with the children too. Yeah. It's not fair that you give
Because
them like some activities, you give them a piece of Lego game, and it's like, okay, you do Lego, you're not allowed screen time. I'm going to be watching my
so
favorite movie. Hey, come on, yeah, that's not fair. That's really not fair.
this is something I tell
So,
my mom for the food habits that Amelia has. So I tell
hmm.
her if I can't control it, then I'm not going to control my child. So let her just eat whatever she wants. Yeah.
I mean, they are like monkeys, right? They ape you. They learn a lot. So that's why using good language, using eating good things, eventually they learn. They learn.
Yeah.
Most of them learn. Yeah.
It's
So
amazing,
any more
Garima.
questions you want me to
I don't
answer?
see any more questions. So if there's anything else that you want to share,
I
or
think they can always write to us. Whoever
yeah.
has any questions, we are
So
here
I'll
for
be
you.
posting this
Yeah.
live video on the IGTV as well as on our YouTube channel.
Sure.
Yeah, so if there's anything, I'll just put your profile link as well, so people will like hit
So
you up.
fun chatting. Yes, and I hope
Yes,
it helps.
of
It was
course,
it
yeah,
was it was not too many
definitely.
ideas, because as I said, the ideas are already there everywhere. It was how to adapt those ideas and make those ideas work. Idea is there,
True.
but
Yes.
how to actually make the most of that idea is
Mm,
the crux right now. It's the problem,
yeah.
because no one has done this before. They have only spent weekends, kids have been away at school, they have not
Mm,
spent this kind of time other than holidays. That too, everyone was geared up for vacation, which don't
true.
think is going to happen this summer. So I mean, it is very different. I understand the challenges, but let's be like opportunists, like, let's make the most of what we've got and count our blessings, teach our kids to count their blessings, because we are a part of a pandemic. That's the truth, and we can't do much. We have to stay out isolated, and we
Mm,
have to live together and be happy, and support the government and whatever they're saying, and
yeah.
and yeah, and come out of it victorious.
So
So no point cribbing, crying,
yeah,
getting anxious, don't know how to take care of the kids. Those kind of words coming out of the mouth itself makes the kids they are so tiny. Yeah? It makes them so fragile. It makes them wonder what's going on. This is a time where we need to show them support, that we are adults, we can handle it. You are kids and you'll handle it too. And we are
true.
in it together, so we all can do it. And if you're chatting with your friend and if she's telling you over the phone that, my child, I don't know what to do with her. Oh my God, this pandemic and staying at home is so hard. And the child is hearing every word. We think they don't, but they are hearing every word. We need to stop these kind of thoughts, even leave alone conversations with anyone, because thoughts have vibrations, conversations have ears, and children have brains to understand what they shouldn't be understanding. They totally get what we are saying, where we are. If we are vulnerable, they will be too. And if we are strong, they will be too. So if we stand strong and be positive, I'm sure they will also be strong and positive. It's up to us how we want them to be, not to
Very
them.
true. Very true. So I think Savitri Ramesh has a question for us. So she
Sure.
says, happy to be here. One last question to you guys. Any piece of advice for mom living in a joint family?
So, what kind of advice are you looking for a joint family? I am actually jealous of anybody who lives in a joint family. Some of my cousins are here. I can see them. Joint families were so fabulous. What people are doing now, we did every day. We enjoyed being in a. I'm serious. Uh, this is an opportunity given by God, that we must bond with all generations, and we must be able to live in a harmonious way. Um, I would like to know a specific question for this joint family, or a situation where you are having a little bit of a problem.
Okay, so I have
Um,
one. So this is again for a friend of mine. So she's in a
okay.
joint family, and everyone has been like busy so much these days, and all of a sudden, again being all together, she's undergoing a lot of judgments from in-laws, saying that
Okay.
the choices that she's made for her child, all of a sudden they're always there together. Yeah, so mainly
Okay.
Savitri says food. So again, it's food mostly for her again. The way
Savitri,
the
this is
kid.
the easiest question, and I'll give you a solution for it, and you're going to thank me. Okay? This is so easy. It's seeming difficult, but it's actually a breeze. It's an easy thing to deal with. So, now with food, there is one generation, which are your in-laws or parents, then is us, and then there are the kids. Okay? So, how old are your kids? If they are like 5 6 years old, or say below 10, uh, we try to tell them, eat this is not good for you, that is not good for you. And the in-laws who are that generation, who have grown up with eating sugar in their rice and chapat dal, and they are putting sugar in their curd, and we are like, no sugar, sugar doesn't work, and
Yeah,
it gets them hyper, and don't give him biscuits and chocolates. And that's where, okay, she's a year and a
year
half,
and a half.
even easier. So the conflict, where the smaller the children are, the easier it is for them to digest anything. What they cannot digest, or what makes them ill, is actually negative comments, negative thoughts, negative surrounding, a family which is not staying in harmony. That little sugar, extra sugar, or something that your in-laws or elders have given with love, I may not be a pediatrician, but I could say that it does not harm them. Believe me, when they are young, they are listening to you and eating at 3 and 4 and 1.5 too. They eat all the junk at 14 and 15. We have no control over them. It's a matter of a short time. It's 2 3 weeks. I would, if I were you, I am as a mother, I would say I would let it be. I would let them eat with their grandparents with a smile, in a harmonious way, enjoying the food and eating it. I would not have conflicts and get worried that, okay, you know what, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law gave him this particular something which, but doesn't that set? I think there is a lot of pressure on future. I'm so sorry, but you're saying that doesn't that set stage for the habits in the future? Uh, to some extent, it does, but every child has their own like and dislike. Like I was telling Pooja earlier, that they have their own. Uh, they are being themselves. I have seen with so many kids, whatever you may tell them, that kid only likes something crispy. You give them dal chawal, that person cannot swallow it only. So, anyways, their habits, we can help them a little bit, but they are individuals who will have their own likes and dislikes and taste buds and everything. We can't force. I would say anything with force does not work. And if it is not suitable, children are the easiest. 1.5-year-old who should not be worried at all. Really, they know exactly what they like, what resonates with their body. They'll not eat what something that they don't like. Of course, sugar and all, little bit candy. One is always watching over, but basic day-to-day food, they will be okay. I think worry should be taken out from the whole day-to-day life. Everything else is good. Set
Yeah.
stage for the future habit. I think it's good. Try it out for a week. Anyways, this won't last very long. And you can always go back to it. It's like how we go on vacation and eat outside food every day. Somebody would say, don't eat outside food, eat home food. But when we are on holiday, we eat, right? Consider this to be as holiday and let them have fun. No one is going anywhere for sure. I mean, I don't know what will work in the month of May. I don't think anyone's taking a vacation. So treat this as vacation, as if you're in a resort, and what kind of food do you get there? Let them eat that. It's all right.
Yes.
Emotional quotient, EQ, is the most important. It supersedes every other thing, whether you believe it or not. When you are at ease, you don't have disease. So be at ease and
Yeah.
avoid every disease. Yes.
Perfectly said, Garima. So every time like you speak, I've told you already, it's like clearing out all my thoughts and so much positivity.
We are there,
So
Savitri. Well, please try it. Please be calm. Be at ease. There won't be any disease with any food. I'm telling you that.
perfect.
And give us
Yeah.
feedback when you've tried it. Yes,
Yes.
Pooja?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Garima. I think
Thank
there are
you.
no more questions. Yes. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. It was an amazing session, and I
We
can't try
really
to
had fun.
like,
Yes.
yeah, I
And
can't try to
food.
wait, try this all out with my daughter. I'm just waiting another 10 to 12 more days to go.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm here anytime. Thank you and bye bye. Thank
thank
you
you so
so much.
much.
Thank
Bye
you. Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, guys. I hope this session was useful for you. And if there's anything, you can always hit me up, or I'll also post these videos in our IGTV and YouTube. And we'll also post Karima's link, so you can always like get in touch with her. Okay, hope you all are going to have a good time. Stay home, stay safe, and take care of your health and everything. See you. Bye bye.